Hi guys, how many of you are fans of Liquid Imaginaires? This is a brand I first discovered selling at Barney's here many years ago. Now they have a new distributor and they're getting out at different stores throughout the country, and currently these fragrances are being sold at ZGO Perfumery here in San Francisco. So they have some great fragrances, very unique fragrances, and the two fragrances that I really fell in love with when I first discovered the brand were Sancti. This is it right here. This is a very fresh citrusy incense fragrance, so it's kind of an interesting fragrance where you've got this sparkling citruses with this kind of smoky incense resins kind of a thing. The other fragrance that has left a major impression on me that I first discovered many years ago is Bloody Wood. Very unique fragrance, really great smelling fragrance of kind of wine and fruits and roses with, you know, light woods and smoke thrown in there as well. But also recently I mentioned and featured BETE HUMAINE, one of their latest fragrances, in a Cypriol fragrances video. So today I'm going to talk to you about these three fragrances from Liquid Imaginaires, and then also give you a discount code for ZGO Perfumery. So if you want to find out about these, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about Liquid Imaginaires. It's interesting. I had never bought any of their fragrances when they were selling at Barney's, and they were kind of like exclusive to Barney's, although they were sold at a few other stores, but not ZGO Perfumery. But now they have the brand in store, which is great, and I'm also very curious to try some of their more recent fragrances. I think they have, drawing a blank with the name, I should have written it down, but they have a new musky, kind of a milky fragrance, which sounds really like my cup of tea, so I'm curious to try that one. But these three fragrances are my favorite fragrances from the house. In fact, one time I went to a perfume shop with a relative, and she ended up walking out with a bottle of Sancti because she fell in love with it immediately. It was an instant love for her. So I'll let you know about these three fragrances. Before I do though, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So are you familiar with the brand? Have you sampled these fragrances? So ZGO Perfumery sells them. They also sell samples of the fragrances. It's a great way for you to discover the fragrances there without buying full bottles, if that makes sense. But there's 15% off with my very own dedicated discount code that I have for you guys. It's Perfume Guy, so you can go there and check them out. And of course, if you're in the city, stop in. It's probably one of the best perfume shops anywhere in the country, but definitely the best perfume shop here in San Francisco. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to talk about Sancti. This is the oldest out of the three I have in my collection here, the three. This is a 2011 launch. And this is Sonia Constant Created. She's a very well-known perfumer. She's got her own brand and she's created multiple fragrances for Tom Ford. So you might have heard of Ombre Leather and a few other fragrances. But this was a really instant love for me because I really enjoy incensey fragrances, but I find incensey fragrances to be a little challenging to wear. This is a very easy to wear incense fragrance because it's surrounded with lots of sparkling and effervescent citruses. So it's very fresh, but in the background you're actually picking up, you know, this churchy incense that's kind of creeping in through all this kind of like very effervescent and fresh, fruity, you know, sparkling citruses. It's a great scent. It's almost like you're at a citrus orchard and you're like you know, doing your work there, but you've decided you're going to take a break. You're going to, you know, squeeze some of those juices of the citruses and drink some because, you know, they're really looking very appetizing. And then there's this church right next door and they're doing the service, and then, you know, you can smell the incense smoke waft by you, kind of a thing. And that's what I visualize with this particular fragrance because it's so citrusy, and then also this kind of, you know, the incense smoke comes through. But this is a 2011 launch. It's Bergamot Lavender Incense, but I also pick up notes like fir balsam. There's some spices, cardamom. It definitely has aldehydic, aldehydes kind of a touch, but lots of bergamot, grapefruit, pomelo, some, you know, resinous myrrh and some labdanum and cedar as well. So the citruses disappear and you're left with an amber. And of course it's got the resins, the olibanum, which is frankincense pretty much. And this gives you that kind of incensey smokiness, the experience of like the church. Plus it's got some myrrh, which is a different kind of a resin, has some sweetness to it, but you've got this fir balsam in here as well. And this is kind of giving you this kind of a green woodiness along with this kind of a piney experience along with the citrus touches. And I think pine and incense and frankincense and myrrh, they kind of go together and they complement wonderfully with each other. But you do get the spices in here, and as I was mentioning, this is a very sparkly, effervescent, sparkling. It's just a really, like, you can see it kind of experience that sparkle when you're wearing it, because all the citruses plus, you know, the aldehydic touches all come through. So it wears very, very fresh. There's spiciness here. It's got the aromatic touches as well, but very, very citrusy. And of course, it's woody amber in the base, leading to a little bit of a warm balsamic experience. This is really, really great. Again, it's for those folks that like incense but have a challenging time. I do have a challenging time to wear incense fragrances because they could just be like full-on in-your-face church, where do I want to smell like church when I'm, you know, enjoying fragrances? So that can get a little challenging and a little overwhelming. This one actually, it's got such other stuff happening. The citruses, it's a very, very fresh experience. So it's the kind of fragrance you can wear when it's warm outside. Not only enjoy all the citruses and the kind of aldehydic touches, but you know, you get that kind of like interesting incensey thing running throughout it. So that's the first fragrance, 2011. I think it's one of their best fragrances, at least to me it is. And I'm not too familiar with all of them. I haven't sampled all of these lately, but I do remember sampling them all at Barney's. Sadly, Barney's is no longer, but I'm going to stop into ZGO Perfumery soon and smell the whole entire collection. And that one, the new one, that kind of milky musk one, that sounds really, really interesting to me. So I want to get an idea of some of the entire collection. But for me, when I was sampling the collection, these two, Bloody Wood and Sancti, were definitely the two of my favorites that stood out. So that's definitely a great one for you to try if you're looking for the kind of a fresh citrusy incense experience. So 2 years after Sancti, Bloody Wood came out. This is it right here. Instantly I went right to this fragrance because the idea of a bloody fragrance was unique and intriguing to me, but I don't like the smell of blood, so I was curious as to see what had happened with this particular fragrance. Why is it called Bloody Wood? And the reason it's called Bloody Wood, because it's red, obviously, and they're using red wine in the notes. So there's definitely this kind of a winey experience here. Wine as in, you know, the kind of wine you would drink. So definitely has that kind of an experience. It's not necessarily boozy, but kind of like grape, you know, because to me this is not much like wine, even though you have slight touches of wine in here. I get more like a grape juice kind of an experience that goes very, very fruity, because this is a fruity fragrance in the end. Lots of fruits are in here, and I like the contrasts once again. So this is a 2013 launch. It's created by Shyamala Maisondieu. I do know the name. I do know this perfumer. I'm drawing a blank with some of her creations. She's been around, although I haven't seen her name pop up a lot lately, but I remember her name, you know, towards the latter part of the 2010s. So this features notes of fruits, red wine, wine lees, oak barrel. But that's the notes that are credited there. I also pick up cherries, raspberry, rose, fruits, and some violet touches. So this is in the end a very fruity experience, right? You got this kind of like a fruit juice experience, but it's not like a childish sweet kind of a fruit juice kind of experience. It's a mature, that's why I kind of thinking it's kind of like a wine fruits kind of a thing. That's why I was thinking it's kind of a grape soda like vibe, but kind of leaning towards wine thing. But definitely you have the experience of fruits, but like, you know, cherry juice comes up, that kind of experience is there. Raspberry juice comes up, and then also rose water kind of comes up as well. So you get the rose way in the back. It's more fruity, but when you're wearing it, you're like, okay, there's some rosiness here. Where is that coming from? So it's definitely in it, and it's really a great combination. The combination of all these fruits and the wine experience, the grape experience, and the rose experience is quite phenomenal. It smells really, really great. On me, it smells wonderful. I really love the way it smells, but it does eventually get woody. There's the oak barrel here, but I also get, when I'm wearing it, I also get some smokiness. Like, I almost feel like there's definitely some incensey undertones there, or it could be the woods kind of working together to create this, but it's not overwhelming. It's not as smoky, incensey as Sancti is, but it's there. In addition to the fruits and the rose and the wine and the grapes, there's that light smokiness coming through. It's a wonderful wearing experience. I really like it. It's a unique smell, definitely fruity, floral, woody, and lightly smoky. So that's Bloody Wood from 2013. A great scent. Definitely check that out. The third fragrance, which I recently featured in a Cypriol fragrances video, is a fragrance focusing on Cypriol and Papyrus. This is BETE HUMAINE, this one right here. This is a very unique smelling fragrance in that it's very, very earthy. And it's got green touches, and the juice is green, obviously, the bottle, although I think the glass is green. I'm not 100% sure if the juice is green, but definitely it's got a green vibe running throughout it. But for me, it's more earthy, woody, and a little nutty, in addition to being green as well. So this is a 2021 launch. It's created by Amelie Bourgeois, and definitely her name comes up quite a bit as well in fragrances. In fact, I've done a lot of videos within the last year where I've mentioned her name in different fragrances. This BETE HUMAINE features notes of chestnuts, violet leaves, woods, papyrus, Cypriol, Vetiver, pine, Guaiac wood, mastic resin, cumin, sandalwood. So if you like woody fragrances, you definitely should check this one out, because this is a unique kind of a woody experience. Not only do you have the Cypriol, you also have the papyrus, and these notes together kind of have a similar smell to them. So when you kind of focus on these notes, Cypriol and papyrus, you'll start recognizing that very, very distinctive smell, which to me is like a combination between vetiver, patchouli, little, cedar kind of woods and things like that. It's a very, very earthy smell, very unique, and it's very distinct here. But this distinction is also contradicted a little bit with this kind of chestnut nuttiness, and then of course the ozonic violet leaves thrown in. So there's kind of like a water crispness running throughout it, which the violet leaves kind of is known for its characteristic. So you do experience a little bit of cumin, definitely does pop through, but it's not overwhelming. This is not a cumin bomb, but it's there. So those of you that might be sensitive might be a little, you can pick out this note much easier rather than someone that's not very sensitive to the cumin note. I do enjoy the cumin note, and I think it's the right amount of cumin in here. But this is an overdose of woods, earthiness, some grassiness, some greenness, a little nuttiness, and some ozonic touches. So that's the third and final fragrance I'm going to talk to you about from the house of Liquid Imaginaires. It's BETE HUMAINE, and that one launched in 2021. What do you guys think about this brand? Let me know. Have you sampled them? What do you think about the bottles? Do you like these bottles? To me, they kind of have a medieval look to them. What do you think? They do have that kind of interesting logo in the back of the bottles as well. So there's something very medieval-esque, especially with this, they almost looks like pewter caps. So interesting. I like this, and I'm a very visual person, and I like the presentation for these fragrances. And even though the bottles seem like they're going to be wobbly, they're definitely balanced perfectly as well. So anyway, those are my thoughts on these three fragrances from the house of Liquid Imaginaires. If you're in San Francisco, definitely go visit ZGO Perfumery to check out the fragrances there, or you can definitely visit the website and use that discount code. The discount code does not apply on all the fragrances at ZGO Perfumery, definitely applies on these. So if you're looking at other fragrances, check in with the store as it doesn't apply to every brand. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. I do hope that you guys put a comment down to let me know if you're familiar with this house, if you have a favorite fragrance from this house. Have you checked out their latest fragrances? And as I said, I'm forgetting the name of that one that I want to check out. It's got this milky muskiness that I read about just before I did this video, and I forgot to write the name down. But let me know if you've sampled that one. I'd like to find out. Other than that, appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.